What up, YouTube? Web Mike here, and Avatar 2's box office has been rather impressive this whole time, much as how it was when the first one came out about 13 years ago. It really wasn't the weekend to weekend that got it to where it was. It was the fact that every single day, people were packing IMAX and 3D to see it. And that's exactly what we're seeing again with the sequel. I looked at on the numbers.com, and this movie averages about 20 million per day. About on average. Now that might drop off now that we're hitting the end of holidays. People are resuming schools and all that, but maybe also now that we don't have a Wintermageddon storm approaching us, maybe more people will go out and see it. I know I'm planning on seeing it at least one more time, at least in 3D IMAX. Now, however, people should also learn to never bet against James Cameron. And one little caveat to that is he's had a few duds that whenever he's been in the, not the producer, but the creation part of it. You look at some of those Terminator movies, the more recent ones, I would say they deserved to perform poorly in the box office. Terminator Salvation was one of the last ones that I looked at and thought, you know, I haven't seen the Machine War yet, so this is something interesting and new. And we have Sam Worthington's character who's new. I actually cared a little bit about him, so there was something new to latch onto. Another failure, sadly, was Alita Battle Angel, which I thoroughly loved. And now that I've seen Avatar 2, I would still say to James Cameron, I wish you didn't forsake this movie for the sake of Avatar 2. I want to see good anime adapted. I want to see good manga adapted. And I can tell he had a passion for it and at least wanted to see it be done well. Now, whatever its shortcomings were, that has not stopped me from getting the highest quality I could with the potential for a 3D if I ever decide to get a TV that does that. And I watched the movie and thought, wow, I want to see what happens next. So, how did this movie fail? Well, probably because there's been a long history of bad Japanese adaptations. That might have been a factor to it. A bigger factor, though, might have been it was released during the Disney acquisition of 20th Century Fox. So this movie came out studio homeless. And maybe that would have made people think, well, who really owns this? Are we really going to see anything more to this? You can't tell the whole story in one movie. Yada, yada, yada. And that's a real shame. But I get it. Not all entertainment, even if it's good, is going to get the exposure it deserves, which we saw this year with The Northman. Well, I'm sorry, not this year, 2022. There was a movie that was like a masterclass movie. However, I showed it to my dad, and he's bored to tears and constantly making comments throughout it that I had to turn it off. But seeing it in cinemas, I was able to just enjoy it. When I see it with my friends, everyone's engaged with it, trying to pick up on all the things that are happening. But now here we are with Avatar 2. James Cameron again has a film that has legs. Just like with Titanic, just like with Avatar, people are seeing it again and again and again and again. Now, say what you will about the movie itself, the box office performance has been really solid. And in the first week, there was a lot of talks about, man, is this thing going to break even? But when that happened, I began thinking, well, how does it look compared to the first turnaround run? And we are seeing a lot of the same trends. Now, will it hit 2 billion? I think it can. The only competition it'll have is when Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania comes out. And there's not really much else that's competing for it. Now, one interesting movie I'll be seeing in the interim will be Pathan. I really hope that's good. I've enjoyed War, check it out on Amazon Prime if you haven't. And I did a review previously to it. It deserves your attention. And Avatar 2, yeah, I think it's definitely going to hit 2 billion. The only thing will be, will it gross like 2.5 to make itself really profitable, at least by James Cameron's announcements? I really can't see how you could spend so much on a movie that it needs to hit 2 billion to break even. Now, one other thing to throw on top of that is, a lot of people are saying, well, Avatar 2 will be the highest grossing movie of 2022. And technically, they are correct. However, I think there's still a chance that Top Gun Maverick could be the most profitable movie of 2022 because it didn't cost nearly as much as Avatar in order to get going. And I doubt it was in production for 13 years. I could be wrong. I could look at an article tomorrow and see how, well, this movie was in production for 20 years or something, like close to what The Meg was, from book to movie adaptation, just in development hell for a while. But I'd be really surprised if Top Gun Maverick isn't the most profitable. Wait a minute. A movie similar to that was Joker. Really cheap, but grossed $1 billion. And I think that made it more profitable than even Avengers Endgame, also in the same year. So, and I would really hope to see that happen because, gotta say, Top Gun Maverick was a better movie than Avatar 2. And that's saying, and that's something coming from someone who likes both, but I can be objective and look at both movies. But hey, a month from now, I'll probably watch this, post a video, and say, hey, I was right or wrong. Just like I did with, did more men or women see Aquaman or Captain Marvel? I don't know. I usually like to think I have a good finger on the pulse of the populace. But that's what YouTube's here for. I thank you for watching for this long. Drop a like if you liked it. Leave a comment if I missed something or you want to expand on something. But until next time, WebMike out.